Many thanks for joining me today on the Marketplace. We'll be hitting the United States of America pretty shortly for some updates of the World Bank annual meetings in Washington, D.C. But before then, let's take this story. An Australian-based mining and mineral economic consultant, Henry Entry, has emphasized the need for Ghana to move from the old style of mining enclaves and create linkages that have strong multiplier effects on the economy. Mr. Entry, who was addressing some structural weaknesses hindering Ghana's diversification drive, emphasized the requirement for integration and partnership between government and the private sector.
Henry Entry advocated strides geared towards macroeconomic stabilization. He was speaking on the theme Harnessing Mineral Resources Towards Sustainable Economic Development during the 7th Alumni Lectures of the University of Mines and Technology.
We have to ensure that we go through the right procedures in the granting of our environmental impact assessment, the right studies are done, and then the monitoring is very key. There are now technologies, remote sensing technologies. We should adopt new technologies and ensure that we do things according to the world best practice.
Mr. MP, who is also a fellow of the Australasian Institute of Mining and Metallurgy, recommended that government mining holding companies should drive value addition initiatives in the country, emphasizing that multiple companies per commodity incur high overheads, administrative costs, and funding challenges.
I think one of the challenges we face is a lot of the strategic planning is done from corporate head offices in Australia, Canada, and so on. I think as a country we should ensure that all these strategic planning comes into the country so that we can scale up our people, because our people are very good engineers, short-term, medium-term, but we also need to train them on the commercial side so that they can understand the entire dynamics, the mining, the technical, the commercial, and the legal aspects.
Vice Chancellor of the University of Mines and Technology, Takwa, UMAT, Professor Jerry Kuma, assured the university would continue to work with the alumni of the UMAT to explore ways of enhancing excellence.
We were unable to admit a lot of applicants who have qualified, and this is a big challenge to us, but we cannot admit them because of inadequate academic facilities. As parents ourselves, we know how it feels to turn away qualified young men and women with good grades. But we are working with the support of government to find a solution to the infrastructural challenges of this university.
Let's still stay with mining. The Ghana Chamber of Mines has criticized government's decision to withdraw the military and other security personnel from the legal mining concessions and mining communities in the country. According to the Chamber of Mines, the situation has culminated in the deterioration of the security situation in mine sites and some communities within the mining areas. Speaking at a training program for public security officers in Cape Coast, President of the Chamber of Mines, Eric Asubontin, called for a reversal of this directive. Richard Kwadunako has more.
In the last 10 years, the minerals and mining sector's contributions to direct domestic fiscal receipts was in excess of 12 billion Ghana cedis, which translates into an average share of 18.4% of direct domestic revenue mobilized by the Ghana Revenue Authority. But the mining sector is seriously under threat, according to the president of the Ghana Chamber of Mines. At the training program for public security officers in Cape Coast, President of the Chamber of Mines, Eric Asubontin, called on government to reverse the withdrawal of security personnel that protect the mining sites.
Unfortunately, the decision of the government to withdraw its public security officers, particularly the soldiers, from the mines in general, has culminated in a deterioration of the security climate of these mines and the adjoining communities that these mines operate in. The current strategy of government to deploy its security officers to a mine only after the occurrence of serious incidents does not augur well for the operations of our members and the strategic interests of the state. Indeed, the state owns shares in most of these companies. It is common knowledge that the private security guards that our member companies contract are not equipped and trained to handle the threat posed by the armed illegal miners and other miscreants who pose grave challenges to the rule of law and the country's reputation as the bastion of mining in the West Africa sub-region and indeed in the larger continent.
The Ghana Chamber of Mines CEO says while the chamber acknowledges and respects government prerogative in deploying public security officers to protect high-value investment, they suggest that it must not be done in a manner that makes the business community worse off.
The occurrence of such preventable incidents is likely to intensify as we approach next election year, or 2020, a period that traditionally coincides with a rise in illegal mining activities and other forms of intrusions on the concessions of our member companies. It is in this regard that we appeal to the government to reconsider its stance on the deployment of public security officers to the concession of mining companies. A reversal of the decision to pull out state security personnel from the mines would not only affirm the government's touted commitment to creating a secured environment for businesses, but also provide assurance to current and potential investors in Ghana's mining sector.
The Chamber of Mines pledged its support for government community mining program to provide employment. However, they revealed some illegal miners were abusing the initiative.
It was reported at the launch of the CMP that the Minerals Commission had acquired several zones in each of the mining districts for this purpose. However, we are mindful of the unintended outcome of some people abusing the initiative to undertake illegal mining activities and encroaching on the concessions of some of our mines. Some of these illegal miners are forcefully possessing portions of the concessions belonging to mining companies and mounting billboards and signages with inscriptions of community mining. These actions have dire consequences on operations of the mines and negatively affect the image of the mining sector. Expectedly, we have drawn government's attention to this development and we look forward to a swift resolution to bolster investor confidence.
The Chamber of Mines indicated there was no doubt that the Chamber and its members had demonstrated goodwill and exemplary commitment in supporting the state to enhance the capability of its public security officers to protect life and property, adding that it would only be appropriate for the government to provide security for assets of responsible mining firms. Richard Kwejunyako, Joy News, Cape Coast.
Now, Women in Technology Education and Development WITED is encouraging female tertiary students to consider buying and selling as a means of building financial capacity. President Dr. Patricia Owusu-Darko says the growing levels of graduate unemployment makes it imperative for students to look beyond their preferences in career choices. She was speaking at a forum held at Kumasi Technical University.
Dr. Patricia says poverty makes women, especially in tertiary institutions, vulnerable to various forms of abuse by men. She believes financially empowered female can be a great asset to the national economy.
There are a lot of things they can do to earn money. They don't have to wait to be employed. So we have encouraged them to look for opportunities to solve problems. In solving problems, they earn money for themselves because the monies are actually not going to fall from the sky, as it were. So we've encouraged them to look out for problems, look for solutions for the problems so that they'll be able to get emoluments for that, whatever they do. It's very, very important for them to be up to their scratch on time management. If they look at their timetables and they plan well, the time they have to be in the lecture room or the labs or the practical room, then they'll be able to look at how they'll manage the rest of the time. They actually don't have to be physically present at wherever they are. We've talked about technology too. Right now you can sit in your room and do a lot of things, sales, marketing, and a lot of things to make money. So it's not only going out there to stand somewhere to sell that will make you make money, but there should be a lot of innovative ways that our ladies can make money as they study.
The forum was organized in collaboration with the KSTU Women's Commission of the Student Representative Council to mark the International Day of the Girl Child.
It will help the ladies to empower themselves, not to limit themselves in the tertiary or secondary level, but then to think about the future, to think ahead, to think what men can do, women can do it better. They can be our future doctors, our future MPs, professors, whatever. So that's the reason why we decided to collaborate with her.
Sandro Ponteria is commissioner.
This is live on the marketplace with me, Emmanuel Boaji. Now, Finance Minister Ken Ofori-Atta is leading a government delegation to the annual IMF meetings in Washington, D.C. The team includes Bank of Ghana Governor Dr. Ernest Addison, Chairman of Parliament's Finance Committee, and officials from the Bank of Ghana as well as the Finance Ministry. My colleague George Yafe is attending this particular meeting. He joins me via Skype now for some more updates. Good afternoon, George.
Well, good afternoon, Yafi. If you can hear me, I can also hear you.
I can hear you loud and clear, and it's a pleasure talking to you at this time. Now, what can you tell us so far about Ghana's delegation?
Well, Yafi, you can call this meeting as basically an annual general meeting of, let's say, a company that is listed on the Ghana Stock Exchange. In this case, you're talking about the International Monetary Fund and the World Bank, which Ghana is a shareholder. So for the next more than 1 week, they'll be meeting today, discussing several global issues and how they affect the country, Ghana. The Ghana delegation that you're talking about obviously will be led by the finance minister, who is seen as the head of the delegation coming in from Ghana. You also have the central bank governor and also other officials from the Ministry of Finance and the Bank of Ghana as well. Now, it's not just about the conferences, because this particular gathering would also offer them an opportunity to have some country-to-country or country-to-World Bank and IMF engagement in terms of what can be done to help address challenges in the economy and what other issues as well. Don't forget that recently Ghana exited the IMF program, and basically what this engagement would offer them opportunity to look at what are the threats to the economy. Is Ghana on track in terms of living up to the promises that they gave in terms of firmly stabilizing the economy? So these are some of the issues that we'll be looking at as the delegation begins meeting the International Monetary Fund, the managing director, and the vice president of the World Bank.
All right, now we understand there are some other meetings with the MD and vice president of the World Bank. When exactly is this scheduled, and do you know the agenda?
Well, that will be happening later in the week, so that is not happening today. One thing that will be of interest to you, is that the IMF has launched its Global Economic Outlook Report, and what we'll be looking out for will be their prediction in terms of the economic outlook for Ghana. Are we still going to grow or stand out as the fastest growing economy in the world, in Africa, or they have revised their growth? And that is what we'll be looking out for today. But that meeting wouldn't be coming on today. It will be coming on later in the week. And we'll be looking forward to see what the fund is going to tell Ghana in terms of how the economy has fared and what they have to do to ensure that they put things right on track.
All right, that will be it for now. But we'll certainly get to you for some more details in the course of the various meetings that will be held today. Many thanks for that input. My colleague George will be reaching us live from Washington, D.C., where he is attending the annual World Bank meetings being held. Now, away from that, Ghana's industrial development has good prospects for transformation as more women opt for the study of engineering. That's coming from the Vice Chancellor of Kumasi Technical University, Nana, Professor Osei Usuachao. He was speaking on the sidelines of the school's 27th matriculation. He says the university and the nation have much to gain by encouraging females to pursue courses in the field. There's more in this report.
Out of the 4,561 students admitted for this academic year, 1,839, representing 30%, are women. Professor Osei Usuachao acknowledges government's efforts at encouraging females in science, technology, engineering and mathematics education. He says the university has established scholarships and other support schemes for females to explore capacity in such areas of study.
I think about 30% of the admitted students are females. We would have liked to admit more, and it's something we're thinking about how in the future we can admit more students. Probably among some of the things we will do is to, provide some support so that ladies who come here, to make it easier for them to be here. We're also thinking of providing counseling, because some of them, they get intimidated. This is a technical university, so mostly the programs are skills-based, engineering, applied sciences, and sometimes the ladies feel that, those areas are not for them. I think as a university, we can do better than, getting the ladies to understand that engineering is for men just as it is for women. And then hopefully we can get them to apply more. So we will have to do our homework better, reach out to the young ladies and let them understand that this institution is for them just as it is for men.
Dean of the Faculty of Engineering and Technology, Dr. Blejiwa hinted at an outreach for second cycle schools and STEM courses.
As the first female Dean of the Faculty of Engineering and Technology, I intend, or it is part of my vision, to see more girls or more females enter into the engineering fraternity. One of the key things we plan to do is to embark on outreach programs at the senior high school level. We've started contacting the Ghana Education Service so that we can get access to the schools. And so every department, that's the 4 departments under the Faculty of Engineering and Technology, we are going to give them presentations and talk to them about the benefits of engineering.
Reporting for JoyNews, Kwesi Debra.
Now, the Attorney General, Gloria Kufu, has assured that a special investigating team from her office is ensuring that all monies allocated to defunct banks are retrieved legally. According to her, the Bank of Ghana's investigation on the defunct banks has been concluded. She disclosed this to the media after representing the state in the first hearing of a case against the owner of defunct Capital Bank, Atu Essien, former managing director of Capital, and 2 others. Ebenezer Sabute was in court. He's joining me right here for more. Now, Ebenezer, what actually happened?
Okay, so we are all familiar with the collapse of Capital Bank and subsequently government's decision to take the matter to court by citing some 3 persons, that is the owner of the bank, Atu Essien, the MD of the bank, Reverend Odonko, Reverend Miss Kate Papafio, and one other, Dr. Neti. Today at the court, the Attorney General represented the state, as you rightly said.
What was the mood in the court?
The mood, it was a busy court, and I should say I saw Reverend Odonko myself. I saw him, and he looks okay, he looks good. I spoke with the PA of Miss Kate Papafio also, and he's like, Madam is fine, she's doing well here, even though they were inside and hearing the case and all that. So when the crux of the matter is that the state is accusing these individuals of conspiracy to steal. So the matter is that, some liquidity support was given to the bank as a way of reviving its operations and all that. And it is alleged that those monies were used on the ways that they are not supposed to be used. So some individuals, and these individuals include Dr. Neti, Reverend Odonko, Kate Papafio, they use the money on purposes that were not supposed to be. So this is just the crust of the matter, and they've been accused of conspiracy to steal and some other, charges that were brought.
So what actually happened? We heard that there was an adjournment.
Yes.
Why was there an adjournment?
So the case is, according to the Attorney General, when you look at the human interest in this case, the kind of interest that the national has in the state has in this, we need to probe it very well. So after the hearing, the judge decided to adjourn, because today is just the first appearance, so you cannot hear the case today and then give all the necessary judgment and all that, because the defendant will now have to file in responses, they have to argue the matters and all that.
So when is the next?
So the next date is 20th November this year, 20th November, and that's when the defense lawyers will represent it and argue their cases out.
You spoke with the Attorney General.
Yes.
What was
she was saying that her outfit is doing all she can to get us all the monies that were used as liquidity support. I think we would like to hear her speak.
To discuss the merits of the case, I will briefly say that the monies that were given to Capital Bank were given to Capital Bank, neither to SL neither to Fitzgerald Odonko, neither to Nettie, neither to the lady accused person, Kwoti Papafio. The money, as the lawyers for the defense themselves said, was given to Capital Bank. Basic principle in law is that a company is a separate personality from the individuals. So if money is given to a bank, and mind you, for a specific purpose, and then individuals, be it that they have any interest in the bank, they are still separate and apart from the bank. If they use it differently, in the manner which is not consistent with the purpose for which the bank advanced the money, certainly there must be a problem. My office is very concerned that these matters be dealt with expeditiously because of the public interest, because these are monies of the state which has been advanced to the banks. And so a special investigative team dedicated to investigating the bank cases are working on them. And you can imagine it's not a simple stealing matter. You caught somebody with a goat, but we are talking about bank transactions over a period. You can imagine the number of documents that you have to review to enable you. Yes, some investigation was conducted by the Bank of Ghana, and that is for purposes of seeing whether or not the regulatory conditions have been fulfilled or breached. That is quite different and apart from the kind of evidence that you require if you want to prosecute. We need to draw that line. Whatever had come out of the initial reports submitted to Bank of Ghana, that formed the basis for the liquidation of the bank, only serve as pointers to investigators who will investigate for purposes of prosecution. And for that reason, it is not possible for me to tell you when these cases will be ready. I can only assure you that we are working very hard with the investigators, and as soon as they are ready, and we are confident that what has been brought us on the dockets are fit for purpose, we will work on them and bring them to court.
And that was the Attorney General, Gloria Ekufu. Now, Ebenezer, one interesting thing before you go. I mean, these involve officials for defunct banks. Now, I heard the name of Kate Papafio. I know she's not an owner.
Yeah, she's a businesswoman. Yes. But you know, like any of us, when we are doing business, we have the right to acquire some funds to help our business. So, according to the AG, some monies were given to her, monies that were supposed to be used for reviving the bank was given to her. But she's also, her lawyers were arguing that that money was legitimately acquired, like a loan that she went for. But after the bank was taken into receivership, she attempted withdrawing the money and they blocked it.
So that's how she was jointly drawn into the case. And what about the UniCredit and GN?
Yes, so UniCredit would be Thursday. But the case has been brought back to the Judicial High Court, that is
from the commercial division.
Yes, from the commercial division to human rights court. Yeah, same with GN Bank, but GN Savings and Loans, that will be tomorrow as well.
Many thanks for the updates, and my colleague Ebenezer Sabote briefing us on the events at the court today. And that's it for the marketplace. My name is Mano Aswaji.